Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready to dive into some seriously cool stuff?
Always up for a deep dive.
Today we're tackling AI, specifically how it's shaking up the future of work. We're talking AI scientists, AI teachers, the whole shebang.
And what's really interesting is this isn't some far-off future we're talking about. This is happening right now, across industries.
You got it. We're diving deep into issue hashtag 75 of the Synthetic Work newsletter. They found some really interesting articles about how AI is changing the job market, and we're here to break it all down. Are robots going to take our jobs? That's the question, right?
The big one, for sure.
Right. So let's kick things off with something straight out of sci-fi. Sakana AI and their so-called AI scientist. Remember all that buzz? This AI was supposedly doing independent research. Imagine that. AI doing the hard work while we, catch up on sleep.
There was a lot of hype, for sure. It's a fascinating idea, automating research.
Totally. But then, enter MIT PhD Jimmy Koppel. He takes a closer look at this AI scientist, and, well, he's not quite ready to hand over his lab coat just yet.
And you know what? Koppel's skepticism is worth paying attention to.
Yeah.
He pointed out this big limitation with large language models, LLMs. They're the engines behind a lot of these AI advancements. And LLMs, they're great at analyzing data, even creating variations of code. But can they come up with completely new ideas? That's where things get tricky.
So it's like they can remix a recipe a million ways, but they can't invent a brand new dish.
Perfect analogy. What Koppel found with Sakana's AI was basically it was tweaking existing research, existing code. It wasn't coming up with groundbreaking new concepts.
So more like a super advanced research assistant than a scientific revolutionary.
Exactly. And that's an important distinction. For you listening, the takeaway is AI today. It's incredibly powerful for optimizing, for iterating, but that human spark, the creativity, the innovation, that's still what we need.
Okay, so robots aren't replacing scientists yet. Phew. But this whole efficiency thing, it's playing out in the corporate world right now. And it's getting interesting. Take, for example, Klarna, Swedish fintech company, and by fintech we mean they use tech to change finance. They've been pretty open about potentially using AI to cut their workforce, in half.
Yeah, and it highlights this complicated relationship between AI and the workforce. Klarna's CEO was even quoted saying AI has seriously boosted their revenue per employee.
Which on the surface sounds, okay, good, right, but read between the lines.
It does suggest they're doing more with fewer people. And AI is a big part of that. And it's not just Klarna either. We're seeing this trend, companies, especially in customer service, using AI to streamline, to reduce costs, which often translates to
fewer jobs.
Exactly.
And it makes you wonder, right, is my job safe?
It's a valid question, definitely.
Because this whole AI for efficiency thing, it's not just some tech world problem. It's popping up in some surprising places, like the UK education system.
Yeah, and it's interesting how it's playing out. Teachers, they've been asking for better resources, better support, forever.
Right.
And the UK government, it seems like they're looking at AI as the answer.
It's like, here's a robot, now all your problems are solved. But what does that even mean? What are these AI tools actually supposed to be doing?
So we're talking about tasks that take up a lot of teacher time. Lesson planning, grading, giving feedback, even personalized feedback to students. AI systems are being developed for all of that.
And this isn't some, distant future thing either. There are apps, Goth, for example, already doing this.
Exactly. Goth's a great example. Kids use it to get help with their homework. Take a picture of the problem, even if it's handwritten, and it walks them through the steps. And, fun fact, it's owned by ByteDance, the same company behind TikTok.
So from viral dances to, solving equations.
Right.
It's a wild world. But jokes aside, it brings up this big question for everyone listening. What do we want technology's role in education to be? Is it there to support learning? Or is there a risk that it becomes a substitute for actual teachers?
That's the debate, right? Some people say AI could free up teachers to focus on the creative stuff, the human connection, the things AI can't do. Others, they worry about the gap between, say, public and private education getting even bigger.
That makes sense.
Imagine, wealthy students, they've got their amazing teachers, plus personalized AI tutors. Everyone else, they only have the AI.
Right. It's a lot to think about.
It is. And it's not just education either. The cost of making and using AI, it's dropping fast. So these tools, they're not just for tech giants anymore.
That's huge.
Right. So we could be on the verge of this massive AI explosion where anyone, even a small business owner, could have access to what used to be super expensive technology.
And that's good, right? More access.
It could be. It could lead to amazing innovations, but it also brings up questions about like ethics, misuse.
Yeah, it's a lot of power.
It is. And speaking of power, AI is really changing how we create, even how we consume entertainment. Like the whole world of video is being flipped on its head.
Yeah.
And that brings us to entertainment. AI isn't just changing how we make movies and shows. It's like rewriting the rules of the game
That's pretty
completely.
mind-blowing when you think about it.
Seriously, we're talking AI-generated video here, folks, and it's getting good. Really good.
It's come a long way. Like, we've gone way past just using AI to touch up a video or add some fancy effects. Now we're talking entire videos created by AI from scratch, and they look real.
It's wild. And one company that's really killing it in this space is Runway ML. They're not just building the tools to make these videos, but they're also like throwing film festivals for AI-generated films. And these aren't just small niche things. We're talking big-time sponsors like Coca-Cola, even partnerships with established film festivals, Tribeca, for example.
Yeah.
Clearly, Hollywood's paying attention.
Big time. And when you see the films coming out of these festivals, it's easy to see why. It's not just like weird experimental stuff either. There are music videos, shorts, all sorts of creative content.
Absolutely. And this is really just the beginning. It makes you think about, well, what does this mean for the people actually
Yeah.
making movies?
Right, like are robots going to be directing the next blockbuster?
Well, it's interesting. On the one hand, you have this potential for AI to automate certain parts of the process, editing, special effects, maybe even writing in the future. And that could mean fewer jobs for humans. But on the other hand, you also have these incredible new tools that open up all sorts of creative possibilities,
Yeah.
things we probably can't even imagine yet.
It's like, yeah, some jobs might change or disappear, but new ones are going to pop up too. That's always how it works.
Exactly. It's all about adapting.
But what about the people watching these videos? Like, do you think they'll even care if it was made by a human or an AI? Is it all about the final product, the story?
That's the million-dollar question. Will future generations even see a difference? Will they care? It's fascinating. Makes you think, like, what even is art? What is creativity if an AI can do it just as well as a human?
Those are some big questions.
They are. But look, this whole AI and jobs thing, it's not just about Hollywood. It's global. And one place that's really grappling with this is the Philippines.
Right, the call center capital of the world, as they call it.
Exactly. And as we've talked about, customer service jobs, they're being hit hard by AI.
And the Philippines, they're kind of at the forefront of this whole thing.
It's a good case study. You've got, what, hundreds of thousands of people whose livelihoods depend on call center work?
Yeah.
And AI is changing that landscape rapidly. I read this story about this guy, Christopher Bautista, lost his call center job as AI started taking over more tasks.
It's easy to get caught up in the big picture, but stories like that really bring it home. Real people are being impacted by this.
Absolutely. And the Philippines as a whole, they're really trying to figure this out. Investing in AI training programs, trying to help workers learn new skills, stay competitive. It's a challenge a lot of countries are facing, not just the Philippines.
Right. This technology might be coming out of Silicon Valley, but it's affecting the entire world.
Exactly. And one quote that really stuck with me is from Christine Caballero. She manages Philippines operations for a company called Sonis. And she said, it's likely soon that customers won't even be able to tell they're talking to an AI bot.
Wow.
It's kind of creepy, right?
A little bit. Like, it makes you wonder, what's the point of even having humans in these jobs if no one can tell the difference?
And that's what it all boils down to. What kind of future do we want? The future of AI, it's not some set path. It's being written right now by all of us.
So true. And I think that's a good place to wrap up this deep dive. AI, it's full of potential, but also a lot of challenges. It's up to us to figure out how to navigate this new world, how to make sure AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. We're all in this together.
We are. And listeners, we want to hear from you. How do you think AI is going to impact your work, your life? What are your hopes and fears? Head us up on social media and let us know. And if you want to learn more about how AI is changing the job market, check out the Synthetic Work newsletter. They've got some really great insights. Until next time, thanks for diving deep with us.